This is the Volton EL Legs. I think it kind of stands for electric legs because that's what it offers you. This thing is kind of like almost a road bike is what I would call it, just because the tires are so thin and you've got these deep dish rims. This bike is under 44 pounds, which is phenomenal for an electric bike. That's really, really light, and the weight is distributed fairly well across the frame. That's the battery, pretty low to the ground. It does have a rear hub motor, so if you pick it up in the middle, it is going to tip back slightly. But this is the kind of bike that you can lift. You can carry it around a little bit easier. You can park it in standard bike racks. And the battery is removable, which is cool. So you can charge it at work or at your apartment or wherever. And then it kind of starts to look like a normal bike, which is neat. Now, I should say that removing the battery isn't the easiest thing in the world. It actually has kind of a screw-on connector on the bottom. So it's not just like you don't just unplug it. You kind of got to screw it on. But generally speaking, it works pretty well. It's pretty impressive power on this thing. You've got a 500-watt geared rear hub motor. So being geared gives you a little bit more torque. 500 watts is pretty large, especially for a bike that's as light as this. The battery pack is 36 volt, 10 amp hours, 10.4 actually, which is fairly standard. So you're looking at like pretty run-of-the-mill battery, lithium-ion Samsung cells. So high quality, but in terms of power, kind of middle. And then a larger motor, which is just cool because you're going to get that extra power I was talking about for climbing hills and stuff. I'm actually at the Electric Bike Superstore here in San Francisco, California, where they do have a lot of hills. And so, having a bike like this that can get up those is kind of nice. And this is a more affordable, almost like entry-level kind of a bike. And, you can kind of see that because the battery's not integrated and, it's some of the components are sort of like aftermarket. You've got a light here that's not wired in at all, so that's going to run on its own battery pack. A little bit inconvenient, but again, you're saving a lot of money overall. The other trade-off here with Volton is you can kind of only find them online. And the Electric Bike Superstore has them, but for the most part, this is going to be a bike you get off of the internet, which means when you get it, you kind of got to set it up yourself a little bit. But the owner, Joe, Volton, he offers great support. I've owned one of these bikes and really didn't have any problems, and he was easy to get in touch with. So I'll jump back into some of the specs here. I love the fact that it does have the fenders. You've also got the nice kickstand there. Excellent Wellgo pedals with the metal studs, so if it is wet, you're not going to slip off, and they just offer a lot of surface area. You've got an interesting sort of a shock here with like a neck shock. It's like the swing shock, and it doesn't really offer you that much shock absorption, to be honest with you. I mean, it looks cool. It's pretty lightweight as compared with like a full-on shock. But, I was on this earlier and you kind of push down and look, I mean, that's not that much room. But it's better than nothing. And when you're working with tires this thin, I mean, this is like, we're talking about road bike tires here. And they work pretty well. Also, you've got disc brakes front and rear, which is nice because, if you're 500-watt motor, you're going pretty fast on this thing, doing some city biking, or maybe you're taking it out to ride in the trails around the Bay Area, and there's hills and it's fast. You're keeping up with your road bike buddies. It's nice to be able to stop, and you've got the extra motor, so the added weight of disc brakes is not a big deal. It's got 7 speeds here. That's probably one of the letdowns, or where you're really not using this quite like a road bike because there just aren't as many gears to choose from. But again, you have the motor supporting you, which is nice. And the controller right here, and actually the LCD computer is quite good. I really like this thing. You'll notice there's a little bit of glare there. You can actually just turn this to get the glare out of your eyes, which I really like. It matches, looks beautiful, and it's got a little breakout box here for the different settings. 5 levels of pedal assist, so you can kind of arrow up there. And the higher you go, the more power you're going to get from the motor, which is really nice. It uses a pedal-X sensor. You can kind of see there's like a plastic disc right there. And that basically just senses your pedal cadence. So this isn't like the super fancy torque sensing, but again, it's a cheaper bike. And frankly, that works pretty well. Anytime you're pedaling, the motor kind of kicks in, and you can set it to 0 and just ride it like a regular bike if you want. But the really neat thing is, in addition to pedal assist, you've got a twist throttle. So at any time, you can just twist that and the bike goes. Like you're at a stop sign, you twist it, the bike takes off. Or maybe you want to zip forward just a little bit, you can twist it and it goes, which is super cool. So actually I was going to try to demonstrate that a little bit. Got the twist throttle. and it's pretty quiet. I mean, do you hear that? It's just a little bit of a whir, an electronic whir. And again, for a bike that's so light, it's great. I mean, it's a fun bike. I kind of like it. But if you're someone who isn't into that more aggressive, like forward-leaning kind of ride, maybe you've got a bad back or a stiff neck or something, you might just want to steer away from this kind of bike in general. You know, it's got the thinner tires, and even though it has that neck shock, it doesn't offer a lot of range. So keep those things in mind if you're considering this bike. It does look pretty nice, and again, they offer some pretty good support. And that front light is built in, so you know, at least you'll have one light, even if you lose the backlight, or maybe the batteries run out or something like that. So for more info on this and other electric bikes, the full written review, check out ElectricBikeReview.com. And I'll see you there.